With the talk of an impending recession on the horizon, many are beginning to ask the question, what can I do now to prepare? Various indicators in the economy are pointing to the signs that an inevitable recession is coming, which has been at the center of financial news for over the last few months. As a result of this, there's been a spike in recession fears throughout the nation, and the question is being asked, is there anything you can begin to practically do now to prepare? In this video, I'll cover steps you can take now to prepare yourself and your family to make sure you can weather the storm. In this video, we're going to cover two aspects of finances that are equally important for preparing for a recession. I'd like to approach this subject from a position of both defense and offense, from protecting to being aggressive, which I'll detail a little more. Let's start with what I would consider approaching finances from a position of defense. Getting your finances in order, allowing you to more effectively protect them from the coming storm. Going on the defense with finances. One of the best ways to prepare for a looming recession is to make sure that your finances are healthy and in order. This means that you should not be living paycheck to paycheck or burying yourself in debt, which could result in a financial disaster should the country enter into a recession and your job becomes a casualty. Here's what you can do now to improve your finances and avoid a financial disaster. Step number 1, build an emergency fund. The first and most important thing you need to do now is build an emergency fund, as it ensures that you'll have access to money in case you lose your job during a recession. Most financial advisors recommend that you have at least a minimum 3 months saved up to cover basic expenses, but realistically a 6-month savings is preferred. While this may sound difficult, remember, this would be a bare bones budget, cutting everything out that's possible, keeping the main things that you need to survive, like food, rent, healthcare, and so on. While you'd have to trim your budget back, it would be possible. Here are some reminders for building your emergency fund. Your emergency fund is different from your savings or investment funds. This fund is only intended to be used for emergency purposes, so make sure they are placed in an account separate from your investments. This will be an account you can access easily. You don't want to put this money in an account that is tied up with penalty fees to remove money like a CD, but rather just a plain old boring savings account like the kind you can get at your local bank. Be sure to accurately measure what your expenses will be in case you lose your job. You will likely remove certain expenses from your budget when you're laid off, so it's important that you take this into account to have a realistic and accurate figure for your emergency fund. Step number 2, get out of debt. The next thing you need to do to prepare for a recession is to do all you can to get out of debt. Debt, especially the ones with high interest rates like credit cards, eat up a huge chunk of your budget. Without debt, your monthly expenses will be reduced, and you'll have more money to use in saving for your emergency fund to prepare for unexpected events that may come up. Here are some tips to help you. If paying off all your debts is not possible, start with the smallest debt first. This is an old trick I learned years ago from reading Dave Ramsey's book, Financial Peace. Once you have paid off your smallest debt, it serves two purposes. You'll get an emotional and psychological boost that you have paid off a debt, which will translate into momentum and excitement for paying off all your other debts. The monthly fee you are paying for that smallest debt can be rolled into your second smallest debt. Use the same approach to pay off this debt and continue rolling this monthly money you're saving into the other debts. In Dave Ramsey's book, this approach is called the debt snowball. I used this approach years ago when newly married, and it made a huge difference setting my family on a path to financial freedom. Once you go down this path, do all you can to avoid any new debts. Get creative and get aggressive. You'll find there's a certain energy and excitement that comes from getting out of debt, which makes staying out of debt all the easier. Remember your goals and keep those at the forefront of your mind. If something could put you back or deeper in debt, kick it to the curb. Step number 3 is avoid using credit cards. Credit cards are really a double-edged sword. On one hand, they provide you with the ability to purchase something that you can pay for in installments or at a later date, which also allows you to keep your cash. But on the other hand, they have high interest rates, and this can tie up a big portion of your budget, especially if you plan on paying only the minimum amount each month. Remember, the borrower is a slave to the lender. While I use credit cards quite frequently, I pay them off on a weekly basis, and I do not carry a balance. Increasing your value and income. Earlier we covered the steps that serve to act as a defense to ensure you've got an emergency fund and you're getting out of debt. But one thing many overlook is not only to conserve your money, but the other approach, and equally just as important, is to get aggressive to build wealth and income. If I had any complaint about the Susie Orman and the Dave Ramsey financial advisors of the world, is that they focus heavily on not spending any money. This is a valuable lesson for sure if finances are tight, but one thing many people do not consider is going on the offense and building wealth. I believe that preparing for a recession should not only focus on cutting down debt and saving money, but you should also try to find ways to maximize your potential and increase your income, which can help you survive in a recession even more. Number 1, maximize your professional value. The best way to improve your income and also to make yourself recession-proof is to maximize your professional value. When companies were downsizing during the Great Recession, the first thing to go were the non-essential employees. Essential employees add value to a company, while non-essential employees typically ride the clock, do not work on improving their skills, and really bring no value to the company. So by adding skills to your resume, this is one proactive step you can take now to help make yourself indispensable to your company. It shows that you are proactive in your development and are not afraid to learn new things or take on new challenges. Even if your current company doesn't value the professional development you are gaining, rest assured that someone within your industry is noticing it. Here are some tips to help. Learn a new skill or technology that is relevant to your profession or field. Make sure that you are able to properly utilize this new skill or technology for the benefit of your company. You can also attend training or seminars that offer certification. Not only will this allow you to learn new skills and knowledge, but you can also use it to network with the right people within your industry. Don't shy away from new responsibility, tasks, or projects given to you. Companies give more value to employees who are not afraid to take on new responsibilities and challenges. Don't hesitate to change jobs if there's a good opportunity waiting for you. Remember, it's easier to change companies or industries when the economy is doing well. Once the country enters into a recession, jobs will be hard to come by. I cannot stress these points enough. I own a business employing several people, and I've had my fair share of team members who did the bare minimum, never wanted to be challenged, and were difficult to work with. But on the other hand, I've had plenty of great team members which have been proactive in developing their skills, will rise to the occasion to learn something new, and just really have a great all-around work ethic. These are the ones I reward, and if time gets hard, I'll find a way to keep them on because I know they're valuable and I don't want to lose them. While I've never had to scale back my company, I do think about the implications of a potential recession and the impact it may have on my company. As you can imagine, when I consider who I may have to let go, I can assure you it is not the team members who are proactive in developing their skills. These are normally your best and most valuable employees. Number 2, have a side gig. Losing a job is painful, regardless if you are prepared for it or not. Just the experience of being told that you're going to be laid off can be disheartening, and this is a common occurrence during a recession because companies are looking for ways to cut down their costs. Though having an emergency fund can help you stay afloat while you are looking for the next job, another way to ensure that you'll have income is by having a side gig. The beauty of our world today is that the side gig economy is growing. There are numerous opportunities available for you to earn extra income without letting go of your regular job. Developing these side jobs really comes down to being creative and thinking outside the box. Here are just some examples of what you can look into. One of the more common and popular side gigs you can do now is to become a Lyft or Uber driver. You can do this after or during the weekends when you're not working. For example, if you have to commute long distances for work, consider offering the service by driving people from the city you're leaving to your own city. If you're planning to travel for the weekend, you can also rent out your apartment and earn extra cash. Airbnb is a great site to advertise a property that you're planning to rent out. You can also start an e-commerce business selling stuff online through Amazon or eBay. If you possess certain skills like graphic design, writing, video editing, copywriting, etc., you can also do freelancing work to make extra money. Craigslist is a good site to advertise your skills under the gigs section. You can also post what you can do on Fiverr, where you can get to earn $5 when someone hires you to complete a task. I personally started my own web development agency using Craigslist back in 2005. I would do simple websites for much lower pay than market prices. But I learned a skill and I was paid at the same time. As my skills increased, so would my rates. Over time, I was able to develop it into a full-time business. Network marketing is another side gig that has the potential to provide a good income. You just need to be good at selling and motivating people to sell as well. Starting a blog or a YouTube channel is also a good side business. Content is king, and if you can speak to an audience with an authentic and authoritative voice, people will listen. Find your passion and find ways to express it. Honestly, that's how I built this YouTube channel. I got excited about prepping and I started uploading videos, and as they say, the rest is history. Step number 3 is to adjust your investment portfolio. Another thing you need to prepare before the US enters into a recession is your investment portfolio. Many people who lost money during the recession was due to their investments suffering huge losses. So adjusting your portfolio to withstand the recession will help you protect your wealth and to ensure your money is safe. 401k accounts were one of the biggest casualties during the Great Recession, as they lost a total of $2.7 trillion in value by the first quarter of 2009 from their peak in the third quarter of 2007. The main reason for the loss of value is due to the stock market's drop, and signs are currently pointing to it being a casualty again should the US enter into a recession. Before this happens, you should adjust your 401k to focus more on safer assets like bonds to lessen the impact of a recession. This is also important if you're near retirement, since a loss will be devastating for your retirement plans. If you're still decades away from retiring, you can place them in safer assets during the recession and just bring it back to stocks when the economy is starting to recover. This financial advice goes the same way if you're invested in mutual funds. You can adjust your investment to focus more on safer assets so it won't get affected severely when a recession hits. Switching to precious metals is also a strategy you might consider, since these commodities tend to go up in prices during a recession. Buying them when the economy is still good and the prices are lower could set you up for a big payday once the recession hits. If you're invested in real estate, you might want to sell them off when the prices are still high, unless you're renting them out. In the last recession, values of homes dropped dramatically, and many owners were selling at a loss. On the other hand, during a recession, it's a great opportunity to buy real estate since prices are low. Be sure to review your assets and make sure you're preparing them for what lies ahead. If you have a financial manager, now is a good time to consult with them. Signs are already pointing to the US entering into a recession soon, and experts are warning that it could be more severe than the Great Recession of 2007. That is why it is important that you are prepared now to make sure that your wealth and income are protected when it does happen. If you like this video, please click the like button and share on social media. Please also share your feedback and other tips in the comments section, as I always learn a lot from the community. As always, be safe out there.